just spell out the challenge around the US presidential election.
Well, yes, that's the weird thing. I mean, whoever wins the 2024 election isn't going to be sworn in until the beginning of 2025, but it really does cast a massive shadow over 2024 because the outcome of that US race is going to affect so many things. Donald Trump has talked about sort of some very strange trade policies, imposing tariffs on things. Of course, he wants to pull the plug on support for Ukraine, so that means that Europe has to step up and do things. And then there's the whole question of China and whether Donald Trump, who does seem to be rather isolationist, would be willing to essentially go to war to defend Taiwan. There is this theory, the sort of window of vulnerability theory. Some China watchers say that China is more likely to make a move on Taiwan in the late 2020s because America's investment in greater military power in the Pacific won't kick in until the 2030s. So it's possible that whoever's elected in the November 2024 election is the president who will take America to war with China. And so, all of these things are a very scary prospect.
Tom, I'll just do one more on elections. I noticed the incredibly smart Rachel Reeves has got a bit of an editorial in there. I couldn't see if there's a Jeremy Hunt one. Are you guys making a call on the UK election?
Well, we think there is a reason why we think that Rachel Reeves is worth hearing from, because yes, we do think that it's much more likely that Labour will win the election. So yes, so we think it's worth paying attention to what they're going to do and what their plans are and so forth. So yes, that's why we invited her to write an essay for us.
AI gets real. Let me turn to that topic because the markets, I think every major publication has been looking at the Sam Altman story in Microsoft over the last number of days. But you talk about unexpected uses and abuses. Will we get to the abuses part around AI in 2024?
Well, we've heard a lot about AI this year, and people are very worried about various aspects of it. They're worried about, existential risk. Are the killer robots going to come? I think that's a bit overdone. I think we should be focusing on the risk of bias and discrimination from AIs. People are also worried about the impact on jobs, and they're also worried, particularly in 2024 and particularly at the moment, about the potential for this technology to be used to generate disinformation, particularly around elections. So there are lots of things to worry about. I think we are going to see regulators try to make some real rules next year. We've just had this interesting agreement in Europe, which I think will accelerate the process. And I think also the jobs question is the one that people are looking at very closely, because these systems do seem to be able to do not whole jobs, but some parts of people's jobs. But I think in all of this, we're kind of overlooking, or at risk of overlooking, the biggest single thing this technology can do. And the biggest single thing it can do is kind of amazing and also kind of invisible to most people. It can write software code much, much more quickly than humans working on their own. So I think this is a sort of permanent increase in productivity for software engineering. And I think that's a very, very good thing. So I think that's something we should be paying more attention to, that actually this is a sort of permanent increase in the ability for companies to launch new digital products and improve their digital products more rapidly.